Let's discuss some of the vocabulary as an introduction to our statistics unit. So let's start with statistical question. A statistical question is a question that can be answered by collecting many data points. So an example of that would be, what is the average height of sophomores? So what we'd have to do then is collect data about the heights of sophomores, and then we'd have to do some calculation. Now, a statistical variable is a quantity or quality that can be measured or counted. So there are two main types of statistical variables: a categorical variable categorical variable. That's where it's an attribute. So you usually count how many in that attribute. For instance, it would be, what category do you fit in? Like, for instance, we talked about sophomores earlier. What grade level are you in? What is your eye color? Things like that. It's an attribute. Whereas the second type is a quantitative variable. And a quantitative variable gives a number. So an example of that one would be, instead of eye color, describe somebody by how tall they are. So we would get a number from it. So not a category, but instead of a number that describes something. All right, a population is a group of all members. So if you're talking about grade level, all the sophomores together would be everyone in that group. Or everything in that group. So again, sophomores would be an example of that. You might say everyone on the softball team, for instance. A sample is a smaller set of members of a population. So you don't look at everyone in the population, but you get a smaller set. So as an example, maybe we would do all sophomores in 7th hour. That would represent all of the sophomores in the whole population. So we just take a smaller set, just the 7th hour math class, for instance, and that would give us a sample of it instead of just all sophomores. Now, in this, the next one, the parameter, this is a measure that describes the population. So as an example, what is the average height of all of the sophomores? So average height of all sophomores, that would be a parameter. That would tell you what is the average height for all of the sophomores in total. So we'd find the height of every sophomore, and then we go ahead and find the average height. Whereas a statistic is a measure that predicts the parameter by using a sample. So as an example, if we stay with our height of sophomores, maybe we take the 7th hour math classes. Not every sophomore is in a math class 7th hour, but we go to the math classes in 7th hour and we find the height of all of those sophomores, and we use that to predict what the height is for all of the sophomores. So an example would be average height of 7th hour math sophomores, and we'd use that to predict what the average height is of all the sophomores. All right, now lastly, here's some actual measures that we'll do. The mean, if we're finding the mean, that's finding the average of something. Add all the values together and divide by the number that of data points that you've taken. The median is where you line up the data points in order, and it's the middle number. Okay, and if you have two numbers in the middle, say you don't have an odd number, so there's two in the middle, average if there's two values in the middle. This is if necessary. All right, and then mode is the most. So when you line up all the numbers, what is the number that is listed the most in it, or the category that is listed the most for it? So here we have the initial statistical vocabulary for our unit that will help us in understanding the language we'll use for statistics.